Have you ever wondered how a controversial YouTuber turned himself into a podcasting powerhouse? What exactly is the secret behind Logan Paul's explosive success with Impaulsive? How did a guy once criticized for being too wild online become the host of one of the most influential podcasts in the world? Let's peel back the curtain. Because Logan Paul's journey with Impaulsive isn't just about jokes, celebrities, or clout. It's a masterclass in branding, storytelling, and growth hacking that few creators truly understand. So buckle up. This is the real breakdown of how Impaulsive became a global phenomenon. The foundation: instant audience advantage. First off, let's address the elephant in the room. Logan Paul didn't start Impaulsive as an unknown. By the time the podcast launched in 2018, Logan already had millions of followers across YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. That gave him something most podcasters spend years chasing: an instant audience. But here's the trick. Logan didn't just rely on his fame, he strategically transferred his fan base to the podcast. Each episode was teased on YouTube. Clips were shared on Instagram. Fans were funneled in, one platform at a time. And that was just the beginning. He also invited high-profile guests, celebrities, influencers, fighters, and internet personalities that his audience already loved. Think about it. If you're already famous and you invite other famous people to chat, you're guaranteed traction. So yes, fame helped, but the smart cross-platform activation of that fame, that's what lit the fire. Unfiltered conversation, why it hooks you. So what actually happens when you hit play on an episode of Impaulsive? You get raw, often chaotic, unfiltered conversation. There's something magnetic about hearing people say exactly what they're thinking. No scripts, no fluff. And Logan, along with co-hosts Mike Majlak and formerly George Janko, nailed that vibe. They weren't just podcast hosts, they were your loud, reckless, hilarious group of friends. From hot takes on social issues to embarrassing personal stories, every episode felt real. And in a world drowning in curated content and polished PR interviews, this kind of honesty stood out. It felt like being let in on a private conversation, one you couldn't stop listening to. That authenticity, it built trust, it built loyalty, and it kept people coming back, even when the guests changed. Content strategy, consistency, and video-first format. Let's talk strategy. Most podcasts post once a week, maybe twice if they're ambitious. Impaulsive? They were dropping episodes up to 3 times a week. That frequency did 2 things. It fed the algorithm, it built a habit. Listeners didn't just tune in, they scheduled it. It became part of their weekly routine. And then there's the format. While most podcasts stick to audio, Impaulsive went all in on video first. Each episode is filmed in a vibrant studio, filled with energy, color, and banter that doesn't translate through audio alone. This YouTube-first strategy gave them the best of both worlds: visual virality and podcast loyalty. It's no accident that some episodes hit millions of views. They're designed for shareability, funny reactions, outrageous statements, viral guest moments. It's the perfect storm for attention. So while other podcasters were figuring out mics and audio software, Logan was producing content like a TV network. The money machine, multiple income streams. So how does Impaulsive make money? Let's break it down. First, there's sponsorships and ads. According to industry reports, the show pulls in somewhere between $47,000 to $91,000 per episode, just from sponsors. Then there's YouTube AdSense. With millions of views per episode, the revenue stacks up fast. But Logan didn't stop there. There's also merchandise, often promoted mid-show or on their socials. And let's not forget, this podcast fuels Logan's entire brand. From promoting Prime Energy to Maverick Clothing, every episode is a walking commercial for his empire. This is vertical integration in real time. The podcast grows the brand grows the podcast, and the revenue, it multiplies. Logan essentially turned Impaulsive into a media business, not just a show. And that's something most creators don't realize. A podcast isn't just about talking, it's about building an ecosystem. Social media supercharge. Here's a fun question. What's better than one podcast episode, 20 viral clips from that episode, Impaulsive doesn't just live on YouTube or Spotify. It explodes across TikTok, Instagram, and X, formerly Twitter. Each episode is chopped into short, attention-grabbing clips. Funny quotes, shocking moments, intense debates, and those clips go viral. This strategy turns 1 hour of content into weeks of engagement. And here's the genius part. Many of those clips don't even require you to watch the full episode. They're self-contained, snackable, and shareable. This pulls in new listeners every day without relying on people searching for the podcast. In other words, Impaulsive built its audience in reverse. Instead of promoting the podcast to get clips, they promote the clips to get new podcast fans. It's a social funnel that turns strangers into subscribers. Fast. The power of guest diversity. Think you know what kind of guests show up on Impaulsive? Think again. One week it's a UFC fighter, next week it's a crypto billionaire, then a viral TikTok comedian. There's no limit, and that's intentional. This guest diversity keeps the content fresh and unpredictable. It also broadens the audience. Someone might tune in for an Andrew Tate debate, but stay for the Mike Tyson episode. Others discover Impaulsive through a pop star appearance or a tech genius interview. This flexibility in content isn't random. It's strategic. They aren't building a niche podcast. They're building a cultural hub, a place where anything can happen and anyone might show up. That unpredictability creates anticipation, and anticipation is addictive. Challenges and evolution. But let's be honest, it hasn't all been smooth sailing. Some fans have noticed Logan pulling back from the show. With his focus shifting toward WWE, Prime, and boxing, Impaulsive hasn't always posted consistently. And when your audience relies on a routine, missed episodes hurt. Reddit threads are full of fans asking, "Where's Logan? Is the podcast dying? Is Mike taking over?" At the same time, hosts like Mike Majlak and George Janko, before his departure, stepped up, keeping the show alive and even giving it new energy. So what does this tell us? Success isn't just about the host. It's about building a show strong enough to survive without the founder. And that's something Impaulsive is still navigating. It's evolving from a Logan-centric podcast into a platform with a life of its own. Time will tell where it lands. The takeaway. So what's the real secret sauce behind Impaulsive's success? It's not just Logan Paul's fame. It's not just celebrity guests. And it's definitely not luck. It's a strategy. A smart, scalable system built on consistency, content diversity, cross-platform virality, and business acumen. It's about creating conversations that feel authentic, building a team that adds value, and using every single piece of content to its maximum potential. That's the difference between being popular and being powerful. And whether you love him or hate him, Logan Paul's podcast playbook is something every creator can learn from. Now, the real question is, who's going to copy the formula next?